What's going on YouTube? It's your friend Jason from Arkansas coming to you today from Red Barn Studio. And today we got a quick couple tips on how to impress clients in your studio space and make them feel right at home and comfortable so they can perform their best. So the first thing I want to talk about today is this word that gets thrown around a lot in our culture today, and that's vibe. You know, you and your friends might hit a new coffee shop or go to a restaurant and you might leave that place saying, man, that place was vibey, or there was a lot of vibe in that place. And so what do we usually mean when we say that is it was comfortable, right? You may want to have an extra drink or stay a little bit longer than you might because the environment was comfortable. So a lot of times in our studio spaces, we overlook that and we think we're going to put a bunch of gear into a rectangular room and people are going to come. Well, they might, but they might not want to stay that long, and that's a problem when you're trying to work with artists that are going to be sitting in your space for long periods of time. So when I first started out in my space, it was about a 10 by 12 kind of office room. It did have a barn door going into it, so we had that going for us. We had a nice window with some diffusing curtains on it, and I built a table out of an old wooden door, had some cool legs on it, built some DIY rack boxes, so it had a good vibe and people like to come and chill and hang and write and record and sit on the couch behind me. When I build this new space, the space we're in currently, I wanted to have that same appeal to the artist and the same vibe, so to speak. So now when people walk into this space, they're a little taken aback by the wood wall on the front of the studio. And a lot of people want to say, oh, that's a cool reclaimed palette wall, whatever they want to call it, you know, they've seen on HGTV. But honestly, that was a really cheap DIY project for me. That's a bunch of 1x2 pine that's stained at different levels of variations of 4 different stains and slapped up on the wall with a finish nailer, and we called it good. And that's our wood wall, and it's a statement piece. I also have a really awesome metal sign that my boy Ryan Fitzgerald of Fitz Fabrications built for me. Check them out in the links below if you're looking at metal signage. He cut that for me. I took some lighting behind it, lit it up, boom, it's a centerpiece. It's a statement piece on the wall when people walk in, and it just creates a mood and a scene that they're comfortable with right away. They want to see themselves in a space, chilling on the couch, standing behind the microphone, playing the acoustic guitar. They can look around and feel comfortable and be okay with spending a lot of time in there. And so that's how you can create some vibe. Use some texture, use some wood. Maybe paint an accent wall. Maybe even have a fridge, a beer fridge in your room. Mine's a little noisy and we have to kill it sometimes when we're recording acoustic instruments because the mics are picking it up. It's well worth unplugging and plugging that back in whenever we're working on quiet instruments, because having drinks there, having it stocked with water and local beer and anything the artist might want is something to think about. Go that extra mile to create a scene and a vibe for your potential clients so they will want to stick around and hang out and do work with you. So the second thing I want to talk about in making clients feel comfortable in your space is lighting. When I was in my first space, just to take you back again, I had 4 can lights in the corner. Thank goodness they were on a dimmer so I could set some mood at night. Had some lamps up on the desk, had some nice diffused light coming out of the window. And so don't underestimate how lighting can affect an artist's ability to perform as well. In my new space now, I have Philips Hue lights installed. So I have a bunch of cans in the ceiling and all my lamps are Philips Hue lights that I can control from my phone. I can control color temperature, I can control color, and I can control intensity all from my phone. And time again, an artist will get into a vocal session and we'll be working, and it strikes me, they're not super comfortable. What can I do? And I immediately pull up my phone, sometimes even in the middle of a take, and slowly fade those lights down. And everybody in the room kind of is like, oh, okay. Just like, okay, we can perform now. I can get intimate with this vocal take now. I can record this the way it needs to be recorded now with a little darker room. I don't feel like everybody's just staring at me. And for a little investment, a couple $100, you can totally trick out your studio room with Philips Hue lights. Control the level, set the scene, make it awesome. So how's your studio vibe looking for you? Does the artist walk into your space when you're gonna track with them and say, man, I wanna record here, this is gonna be awesome, this is gonna be like hanging out, making great music, I can get comfortable here. And how's your lighting scene? How's your scenario there? Do you have fluorescent lights? I hope you don't. Do you have nice incandescent lamps? Can you go to just lamps? Can you rearrange the current light scene you're currently working on just think about those things as you go to attract clients and artists that want to work with you. They need to feel comfortable in your space. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching to the end. I appreciate a like and subscribe down below. And as always, let's continue the conversation in the comments section. If you have anything you'd like answered about my studio space, or if you have a suggestion or comment on how you create vibe and style in your studio space, let me know below. I'd love to hear what you're doing in your space. Talk to you soon.